communication. Et donc, il répond qu'on est ici à essayer de voir de ne pas chercher à partager cette évolution de la taxation qui servirait à la démocratie et permet de transition. Les autres, je voulais faire autre chose.
Tout là-bas, ils attendent avec les mains.
Ah, they're off. They're on the move.
For Attac in France anyway, and we are many activists here from. It's a symbolic demonstration just for. We would like to find Apple because we know that Apple is now in Jersey. And
Are they called apple in France or pomme?
yes, this is the app.
Are they apple or pomme in France? What do they call them in France? Apple.
Apple.
Apple. They call them.
Apple.
I just thought
Yeah.
I thought they might translate.
And Apple is no more in Ireland, you know. And now they are in Jersey. We know that because thanks to the Paradise Papers.
Right.
And we would like to know where they are in Jersey.
We'd like to know where the money is. That's what we'd really like
Yes,
to know.
because they pay nothing and they make many profits in Europe and especially in France.
Do they do?
And they pay nothing or yeah, quite nothing. And so we are looking, we are searching to Apple here in Jersey for showing that Apple is somewhere. And
who do you think in Jersey knows where the money is? Who do you think might know?
I think many people perhaps know. Some people working in the there are some enterprises. This is sure that somewhere people are managing something for Apple here, but we don't know where.
What French firms are in Jersey? Do you know?
Yeah, big banks like Société Générale and BNP Paribas, for example, we know that they are here with many workers here.
With manufacturing companies who actually do anything.
Yeah,
Petrol companies.
Other ones, that's clear.
Yeah.
And but especially these two big banks, we know that they are here, and many other ones.
Well, as you can see, the revolution has stopped for luncheon. So, unfortunately, the French electricity is not very bright today, so we can't see a great deal what's going on. But anyway, here it is. Here they are. We'll try and find somebody you can speak to in a moment. With a bit more light, if possible. I don't know if the Chief Minister's here or the Treasury Minister. Maybe they're here somewhere. When we first came, there was a lot of anger in France then. There was a lot of anger in France. And there's still anger now in France. So what's changed? Anything changed?
What is changing in France? It's only that people are more conscious of the necessity to ask to or member of parliament to act effectively against tax evasion. At first, they didn't. They were not so conscious as they are now, and perhaps that is because with the crisis, our government asked us to accept more policy of austerity.
At the funeral for Mr. Johnny Hallyday, millions of people there demonstrating, all very upset. But will you ever get such a demonstration about tax evasion? Will it ever happen? And Mr. Macron will say, oh, it's terrible, and all the millions of people, like Johnny Hallyday.
Certainly not, because à cette occasion, we have tried to focus the attention of people to the fact that Johnny Hallyday had this house in Saint-Martin, and in Saint-Martin there is no inheritance tax, and that's I remember.
What I'm trying to say is the public enthusiasm. He's a singer. Oh, it's terrible. He's dead. It is sad. It's very sad. But a company like Apple, it affects everybody, and it's money, and lots of other companies. They won't demonstrate in the same way. They're not so upset.
Not enough yet to go to demonstrate.
No.
They are it's irritated, no? But not enough to join us.
So what does it mean? What level? At Rennes or Saint-Malo? You elect a mayor. Do these issues ever come up at local level? Does anybody say, Mr. Mayor, how about tax evasion?
We are concerned by the way of Airbnb because there is consequences. Rennes is a town of 50,000 étudiants, 50,000 students. So there is a shortage of little flats, and as Airbnb is arriving, you know, what is the consequence? Well, they create a lake of disponibility of a little studio, and they have tried to introduce also this card from Gibraltar to avoid the landlords to pay the tax. So that have an effect on the town. So the mayor can take that in consideration, and I know they think about it because we have observed what happened in Barcelona, in Paris, and even in Bordeaux, which is a town much more similar to Rennes, and by this consequence that we can feel really on the ground, I think we wish we can involve much more Mayor Nathalie Perret.
Because obviously, here you are today, the Jersey politicians, Chief Minister, Treasury, they're not here, are they? They're not here to speak to you, to meet the friends from France. I don't know if you invite them or whether they're invited, I don't know. But they should be here to speak to you. They should be saying, look, these people are protesting, we should speak to them. But they don't, do they?
Yes, but I know the situation is completely different. In my section of the Parti Socialiste in Rennes, we speak frankly about that because we feel the consequence. We are average people like you, and in our daily life we feel this consequence. So that's it's a topic that
Well, this is what happens. You see, they have a little meeting now together, very together. This is how Apple have their board meetings. They all meet somewhere in a darkened room, and they have a few drinks, and they decide where are they going to put the money.
My name is Jacques Arel. Yes.
You've been with Attac many years.
Yes, I was with Attac since the beginning. I've been with Attac since the beginning. It was created in 1998.
98.
That's right, and we started that in Saint-Malo. And 3 years later, we decided to do something about Jersey that was the closest tax haven for us.
And you came to Jersey and did that famous demo.
That's
the
right. We were 250 people.
Right.
It took almost a year to negotiate this demonstration.
And the police came in their riot bus, all the shields.
Right. We had meetings in Saint-Malo and the sous-prefecture, that is the state authorities. And finally we agreed on 200 participants and 50 journalists from all over Europe.
Was there more interest then than there is now?
I wouldn't say that. I think the interest already was present, but we were not audible. We were not. We couldn't be heard as much, of course, at the time as today. We have been helped by many scandals, LuxLeaks, recently Paradise Papers, that have shown that our fight was serious, based on realities that have been shown by all these scandals.
Since then, little boys like me with their cameras, the internet, all the facilities are there to spread the word. Has it made a difference?
It has made a difference. For instance, this morning when we were in the streets of Saint-Helier, we were giving handouts to people. We were talking with people who were willing to discuss. And for the first time, we have not one single case of hostility. That's very important. It was almost a revelation because until recently, there was sometimes a violent reaction, people insulting us, people taking their bags at us and so on. We have not seen that one single time this morning. So I think people in Jersey and in other places are gradually getting aware that it can't go on.
Obviously things are changing for Britain with Europe.
Yeah.
For your perspective, is that good or bad?
Well, we don't know yet. We are at a moment when we can go to the worst or to the better. It's true that the Brexit choice by Great Britain is full of scenarios that are either cooperative or clearly antagonistic to Europe. And the great risk is to see Great Britain transform itself into a kind of maximum tax haven, and that would also be a problem for Jersey people.
It could be.
Because, for instance, the Jersey passport that some Jersey-born people here have, and they complain about with good reasons, is going to be the local passport for everyone in Britain.
Maybe.
Could be. It depends on the evolution of the.
Yeah, there are some people in Jersey who want independent Jersey. If that happens, it'll be wonderful for the finance industry because they'll have absolute total control. There'll be no resistance. And there are lots of places like Jersey, Guernsey, Isle of Man, West Indies, Gibraltar, all these places.
Yeah.
If they all became independent, what would happen? They would be terrible, wouldn't it?
I always mention the case of one place called Nauru, which is a very small island, tiny island, 800 miles northeast of Australia. It had the third or fourth GDP per person in the 40s because of the wealth they had from the phosphates and the minerals they had. And gradually it got extinct because there was no resource. And the elite decided to turn their place into a tax haven.
Right.
But as they arrived late on the market, they had the worst resources from drug trafficking and all that. And the French Prime Minister Jospin, just before the end of his government, decided to create a decree that said every French bank or foreign bank in France that will have a deal with receive money or send money to Nauru will be taken away from the capacity to work in France.
And that was approved in France.
Yeah, exactly. Overnight, it stopped all the shady deals.
But in all these places,
Germany followed, other countries followed,
as you know,
and now it collapsed. So I'm afraid that this might happen
to the people in that little island? What do they do now? This is the big problem.
Now they have the highest rate of obesity and of disease related to obesity.
Right.
Because they have been used to living without working because of these resources, and now they have been transformed into a kind of prison. They are paid for by Australia to accommodate the illegal immigrants that Australia refuses to have on its soil. I don't wish this to happen in Jersey.
If the tax haven business for the small islands is got rid of or controlled to a much more degree, what can happen to the people? This is always the problem. What else can we do? What else can we do? That's always the question.
The question has been raised by people like Richard Murphy and others. It's the question of the plan B. You have to find, very quickly, I think you have to find alternative, knowing that finance can leave overnight for other places that are more interesting for their interests. And I don't know what will happen with this island. There are possibilities, but they will only be profitable after some years. There is tourism, there is a good degree of quality agriculture, but that won't be enough.
Of course, unfortunately, a lot of places in the West Indies threatened by the typhoon, so they've got a double problem. They've got to recover, and they've got to tax haven maybe.
Right, but if we relate this question of tax haven to the also the environmental issues, because there are connections, because many banks and offices invest money in activities that are not sustainable. In fact, we know that.
Of course, yeah.
So there is also a demand on these questions from
the irony is that Gibraltar has a relationship with the European Union that will cease, but now Gibraltar is looking, they want a seat in Parliament in Westminster in London. Now that's a strange development. Now if that happened to all these places, that they all had representatives, I mean the irony is if they had a good relationship with the European Union could help them financially.
Exactly.
If you break the relationship, you can't have no help.
We always have said, and this can be found in our papers in Attac and other groups, that the EU had helped countries like Ireland or Portugal to develop, and that we had this duty to help countries like Jersey if they make an option that is different from the present one, of course.
Right, that's right. You came today on the boat.
Yep.
Did you have to show your passports or ID cards?
Of course. Yes, of course. Yeah.
And that's no problem?
No problem.
If there was a visa had to be shown to come here, what would that affect?
I'm sure it would be an obstacle for many people. People simply wouldn't come. There are other places that are more easily accessed, so it might be a problem. Yeah.